Today, we're digging into a really powerful idea that if you want to understand world politics, everything from ancient history to today's headlines, you have to start with the map. We're going to be drawing from Tim Marshall's incredible book to see how world leaders are often, in a way, just prisoners of the geography they happen to inherit. So let's get into it. And to show you what I mean, just look at this puzzle right here. You've got China and India, two absolute giants, both nuclear powers with huge populations and, let's be honest, competing ambitions. They share this massive border, thousands of kilometers long. So what gives? Why have they never had a full-blown major war? Well, the answer isn't some brilliant piece of diplomacy. It's the Himalayas. The highest mountain range on the entire planet stands between them, making it almost impossible to move a big army across. You see? Geography has dictated peace far more effectively than any treaty ever could. So here's the plan for today. First, we'll break down this core concept of the geographic prison. Then we'll dive into two case studies that couldn't be more different: Russia and the United States. After that, we'll tackle the big question: has technology broken these old rules? And finally, we'll apply all of this to the new great game that's heating up in the Arctic. All right, first up, let's tackle the big idea. What does it really mean to be trapped by the land you're standing on? The fancy term for all of this is geopolitics. But all it really means is looking at how physical stuff, where the mountains are, where the rivers flow, who's got access to the ocean, fundamentally shapes the choices that countries make. It's the why behind so much of what you see in the news. And Tim Marshall just puts it perfectly here. He argues that leaders, no matter how powerful they seem, are always constrained. Their decisions get funneled by the physical world they live in. Their options are literally limited by the map. So the big takeaway is this: geography isn't just some boring backdrop for history. A lot of the time, it's actually driving the whole story. Okay, so let's see this idea in action with our first case study. We're going to look at Russia, a country whose entire history can be seen as one long, brutal fight against its own geography. 500. For the last 500 years, Russia has been defined and really haunted by one terrifying vulnerability: the North European Plain. This huge, flat stretch of land on its western border has zero natural defenses. It's basically been a superhighway for invading armies for half a millennium. Just look at the list. The Poles, the Swedes, Napoleon's army, and then the Germans, not once but twice. They all came from the west, right across that plain. This history has created, you can imagine, a deep-seated national paranoia. It has led pretty much every Russian leader, from the czars all the way to the present day, to the exact same conclusion. We have to control that flat land. We need a buffer zone. It's not just about ambition. For them, it's a geographic imperative for survival. Now, the second trap is its coastline. Look at a map. Russia is enormous, but almost all of its ports freeze over for months at a time. It doesn't have a single major port that stays ice-free year-round and has direct access to the world's oceans. This right here is why the port of Sevastopol in Crimea is considered an existential issue in Moscow. Without it, Russia can't really be a global naval power. It's a land giant, but a naval prisoner. And finally, you have Siberia. Get this, 75% of Russia's entire territory is this massive, resource-rich land in Asia. But it's so incredibly harsh that only 22% of the population actually lives there. It's like having a giant treasure chest that's almost impossible to defend, to develop, or to project power from. It's a huge asset, but it's also a huge vulnerability. Okay, now let's do a complete 180. If Russia is a prisoner of geography, then the United States is the country that basically won the geographic lottery. Just think about it. Instead of a vulnerable, flat plain on its border, it's got two gigantic moats, the Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans. Instead of frozen ports, it has tons of amazing natural harbors. And the real kicker? Its heartland is crisscrossed by the Mississippi River system, the world's greatest natural transportation network. That made it super cheap and easy to move goods around and build a massive continental economy. And to their credit, American leaders played their geographic hand brilliantly. While Russia was desperately fighting for defensive buffers, the U.S. was expanding. The Louisiana Purchase in 1803 wasn't just about buying land. It was about getting total control of that Mississippi superhighway. It was arguably the single most important move in guaranteeing America's future dominance. By 1848, the U.S. had stretched from sea to shining sea, creating this secure, resource-rich superpower that's just incredibly difficult to attack. So all this stuff makes a lot of sense for history, but I know what you're probably thinking. What about now?
I mean, we've got jets, satellites, the internet. Hasn't all that technology made geography irrelevant?
Well, here's the thing. Technology has absolutely bent the iron rules of geography, but it hasn't broken them, not by a long shot. Yeah, a B-2 bomber can take off from a base in Missouri and hit a target on the other side of the world. That's a game changer for sure. But it doesn't change the fact that you still need boots on the ground. You still need to control sea lanes for trade, and people still live in physical places with mountains and rivers and borders. Technology is a powerful tool, but the map is still the game board.
And to see just how much these rules still apply today, we just need to look at the newest geopolitical frontier on Earth, the Arctic.
For centuries, the Arctic was, well, it was a frozen wasteland that nobody paid much attention to. But because of climate change, that ice is melting. And as it disappears, the map is literally being redrawn right before our eyes. New, shorter shipping routes are opening up, connecting Asia and Europe. And underneath all that melting ice, a massive treasure trove of resources. A whole new frontier has just opened up. And all of a sudden, good old-fashioned geography matters more than ever. It's like a 21st century gold rush. All the nations that border this new ocean are scrambling to stake their claims. Russia, which has this enormous Arctic coastline, is building new military bases. The US, Canada, Denmark, Norway, they're all maneuvering for position in this quiet, cold competition for territory and influence. And the stakes? They are absolutely enormous. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, we're talking about an estimated 90 billion barrels of undiscovered oil and nearly 1,700 trillion cubic feet of natural gas just sitting there, waiting to be claimed. This isn't just about drawing lines on a map, it's about the energy resources that are going to help power the 21st century. So that really leaves us with this one final thought. In a world of drones and cyber warfare and satellites, it's really easy to think that the physical world doesn't matter anymore. But from the plains of Russia to the oceans protecting America, and now to the melting ice of the Arctic, the map continues to shape our destiny. Technology is always changing the pieces on the board, but the board itself, geography, that's still the game.